Now, the following days after the important left-hand update showed us that Valve are really back, and since then there's been another smaller update, new discoveries, and some VAC-related news. Let's talk about all this right after SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is an automated service that lets you trade skins instantly for a fee, sign up now, and get up to $5 bonus. Simply add items from your inventory, then find skins that matches your current balance. Site offers live support 24/7. You can also top up your balance if you're missing a few dollars, and there's a lot of skins to choose from. Visit my link down below to get to SkinsMonkey. So let's start with the smaller update to begin with, following a series of miscellaneous patch notes and map fixes. Now these are actually all easy to talk about since they all come from upvoted Reddit posts. To prove it, let's start with our wonderful glove inspection feature shown by the Rondo Dondo. It's quite funny how CS2 keeps getting new features by accident. Well, Valve decided to fix this bug in which they specified that grenade throw animations would get stuck when switching hands. Reminds me of that accident we had with inspecting mollies. Oh, it's still there. Also, as I was swifting through the nades to confirm the fix, I did notice that mollies are not affected by hand switches, which I think is intentional. Next up, some people noticed after the main update that there was a problem with throwing flashes and smokes after each other. I think this might be the third time that we've seen this exact issue reappearing in CS2. This video by AIM Project shows it in action, even brought out the mouse and keyboard layout to show the keys being pressed. Obviously, this bug was not fun for competitive players and dual flash wielders, and they fixed it as you can see in this patch note. This next bug is rather funny, almost classic in a way, but hours after we received a brand new drop feature in the buy menu, people started noticing that you were able to fool the system. When I mean classic, it feels like a classic oversight from Valve, but they quickly fixed the bug. Next up, don't know if you noticed, but you could sometimes see a strange light inside the smoke, and the user What a Waste of 7 Years was able to reproduce the so-called flaming smoke with an HE thrown right after. Now the thing is, Valve fixed a bug with this latest update where smoke grenades would sometimes appear lit as if a flashbang detonated inside them. So I can't really say for sure, but it sounds like it might have been this bug. Also, I'm no longer able to reproduce the flaming smoke, so it definitely feels like it is. And the post is about a month old, so I can't really think of any other reason for this patch note existing. Now, as with tradition, there's always new bugs introduced with bug fixes like these, which we will likely see even more bug fixes for starting this week. One of them was reported by Lummington, where certain sounds are not audible from your POV, but other players can hear them. To clarify, this isn't the other infamous bug where you could sometimes make a sound when passing water, which by the way has been fixed after this update. So it's possible that this might be linked to that bug with the water. It's already bad enough that enemies can hear you when you clearly can't hear yourself, so I hope they sort it out soon. Another one is how the keyboard stops working completely when accessing the new buy menu, or the scoreboard as you click and fiddle around. You might have already experienced it yourself and wondered if you had to buy a new keyboard. They will likely fix it soon. Now with Dust 2 back in the pool, we started seeing smoke lineups, and someone noticed that you could throw nades on top of middle doors. So Valve, quote, fixed a spot in Dust 2 above mid doors where grenades would fall through the world. This makes waterfall smokes less viable after testing it out, but not entirely useless either. I'm sure someone out there has found a better smoke at this point. Speaking of Dust 2, this map hasn't been in the map pool for this game, and without any skyboxes and the smoke changes, it's an exciting time to play Dust 2. Personally, I've had a lot of fun in just casual mode, and I really like the new possibilities with nades. Let me know if you guys feel the same or not. Finally, they fixed a spot on Inferno where weapons could fall through the world, which I couldn't find, but it speaks for itself. Now, when I talked about Inferno last video, I was focusing on the removal of the tall building at middle, but I feel like it undersold Inferno's other changes. For example, notice how the wooden wall here is lowered? This is intentional, and done so that the players' heads are easier to distinguish against the white wall. Also notice how the elevation on the map is changed to remove some of the annoying bumps that the map has. And just from this image alone, it pretty much reveals what they've done to the entire map, but if it isn't clear, a lot of small objects have been removed. Just notice, for example, how middle is decluttered with less flower pots everywhere. This example is also neat. The table is gone, which was obscuring a key angle. And I know this one from personal experience since I've ranted about it for some time, but they moved the parasol against the wall. So I hope you see it more clearly now. Inferno is doing much better today after all these treatments. You should really give it another chance if you were one of those who gave up on it in the past. Now, another thing that people noticed and something you guys also brought up in the comments is that your hand positions affect the hole punches in the smoke. You can see it in action when switching side. This is interesting since hand positions are controlled server side, including your view model settings, which now everybody can see. But I would argue that it's not that useful since switching hands causes you to redraw your weapon, which means you can't shoot in between. So basically, don't try this at home. On another note, since I'm managing retake servers thanks to XPlay, which are by the way active every day, you're welcome to join. I've already been knifed mid-air, so that's possible to do. It hurt my feelings, but it's possible. And grenades are also possible, but it's more or less cheating since it only checks if you were mid-air when you get the kill. Honestly, it makes little sense for nades in the first place. Lastly, let's talk about VAC and everything going on there. We already got something from the main update which told us that Valve is doing something about cheaters. And just 2 days ago, a wave of VAC bans were handed out. Apparently a known cheat was detected, which makes sense that it's VAC bans being delivered. Is this going to fix the cheating issue? Of course not. They would rather take the fight in incremental steps. One of those steps outside of the VAC wave is bringing back Overwatch, or at least they're currently working on bringing it back. Overwatch, from what we know, isn't available to anyone just yet, but Beep Isla has a preview of how it would look. Keep in mind how it looks can change over time, but from what we can see, it's probably going to behave just like regular Overwatch. Gabe Follower and Thor have been analyzing the strings, going through Overwatch discoveries, as well as VACnet. I also think this patch note in the main update was essentially Valve's way of calming us down. Imagine how people would react if this wasn't in the update. Even if Overwatch isn't ready just yet, Valve had to show us in some way that they're working on solutions, or a lot of people would have given up. So when will Overwatch get released? Hopefully soon. Please comment down below with what you think, and as always, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.